Greetings, programs. This is Wretch, and welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. The impound lot. Your words ring metallically off the confinement room's walls. You've been talking for so long, recounting all the tedious details of your run, that your voice hums within your ears after you finish speaking. The single flickering bulb above your head sways in some invisible breeze, maybe from all the hot air you've been blowing out of your lungs these past several minutes, maybe from the occasional shaking just outside the room. Beyond the light's reach, your interrogator stands shrouded in shadow. You can't see his eyes, but you can feel them quietly observing you from the safety of his corner. His silence opens the floodgate to your thoughts, and questions come pouring in. Were you brought here alone? With others? Are these really cops, or is this all some sort of twisted mindfrackery? But most of all, what do these people want? You finished your story. There's nothing left to tell. It's his turn to talk. Let's see what the interrogator has to say to us, because I'm really curious to see what this is all about. The troll lifts his audio recorder from the table and clicks it off. He stands in silence for a moment, looming over you, sizing you up. Then he purses his lips and nods. And that's when we picked you up. That's right. When I came to, I was already handcuffed and sitting in this chair. Very good. Thank you for recapping all of that for me, Mr. Shan. Your testimony was extremely helpful. And now that you've helped us, it's only fair that you learn something in return. Oh? And what's that? The troll pulls an object out of a police evidence bag marked with the HKPD logo, a PDA with a cracked case, stippled with day-old blood. We recovered this at the scene. Take a look and see what we saved you and your team from. Let's go ahead and say nothing. He sets the PDA down on the desk, activates it with the tip of his pen, and slides it towards you. Just watch. Don't touch. You don't want your fingerprints on this thing. The feed is shaky. Whoever owned this device must have been panicked and out of breath. You can see people, swarms of people, including the locals that you spoke to on the street, all carrying burdens of some kind or another. A laptop here, knapsack there, backpacks bulging with shrink-wrapped food and bottled water. None of them appear to be armed. The camera wheels around and you can see a firing line of police. The man with the patchy beard is pleading with them, begging to be let through. He says he isn't a rioter, that none of the people are. The constable, faceless behind his mask, says nothing. The camera focuses in on a figure behind police lines, and her features are instantly familiar. Chief Inspector Crate. She looks straight into the camera, then she reaches her hand to an ear and speaks into her comlink. Her voice is loud and clear enough that you can hear it over the PDA's tiny speakers. All teams, you know the orders. Open fire, put them down. An explosion of gunfire fills your ears. The camera spins crazily and you catch a panoramic view of bodies bursting like water balloons. Faces that you recognize from your trip to Combat Pang scream for help and are silenced. The second volley of gunfire catches the owner of the PDA. You hear him shriek, watch the camera spin dizzyingly. You hear a sickening crack and the video feed flickers and dies. Holy crap. The PDA goes silent. Without a word, your interrogator lifts it from the table and returns it to its evidence bag. They killed everybody. He just hosed them all down. They suppressed the riot. At least, that's the story that all the news outlets are running with. Unofficially, it was a massacre. If we hadn't pulled you out of there, you'd been gunned down with the rest. Why did you show me this? Good question. Let's just say that people at the top had their eyes on you for a while now. You'll get all the answers you need soon enough. The troll stretches, slips his pen back into his breast pocket, and flips his notepad shut. Then he taps a series of keystrokes into his PDA, and the cuffs around your wrist go slack. The lights in the room come up, and for the first time, you can see his face, and the badge on his hip. HKPF Standard Issue. A laminated card clipped to his breast pocket states his name, Inspector David Yang. Okay, I think we're done here. What are you charging me with, Inspector? Nothing. You aren't under arrest. You and your team are here as guests of the HKPF, and you're going to remain that way until we tell you differently. Guests of the HKPF? You're going to have to clarify that. Not my job. I need to speak with... I think it's Q and Lamb for that. Don't you worry. They'll be sending for you soon enough. Who are they? You'll find out. And we are loose, guys. Interesting. The door looks solid. You can't see any visible doorknob or latching mechanism from where you're standing. Most likely, it's barred from the other side. Let's examine the door more closely before we decide to try and knock it down. The door is made of heavy steel. It appears to be mounted to a set of tracks at the top and bottom of the door frame, designed to slide rather than swing open. When closed, it sets flush with the wall. Your best guess is that the room you're in was built in one piece and the door was later cut from it. Well, let's try and force the door, see what happens. You slam your shoulder into the door. It rings like a gong, but it doesn't budge. Can we put some muscle into it? We got a lot of muscle. You rear back, take a deep breath, and throw another shoulder check. The clanging noise that reverberates inside of the room is impressive, but the door doesn't budge. You do it again. A third time. Nothing. Eventually, you hear the sound of muffled voices on the other side of the container door, followed by a dull thunk. The scrape of metal dragged over metal fills your ears. The door pops open, but only a crack. A sliver of daylight streams through from the other side. Now do we get to talk to these folk? Oh, it's the crew. Hey, guys. The sun stabs your eyes as you step from the interrogation room into the noonday sun. Blinking against the glare, the world gradually swims into focus, and a familiar face greets you. Caleb, you're out. Thank God. They've had you locked away in there since we got here. He leans to peer into the trailer. Looks empty. The way that you were pounding on the door, I assume that somebody was beating on you in there. Nobody beat on me, but one, maybe more than one, of their mages probed my mind. It wasn't pleasant. Magical interrogation? They're pulling out all the big guns. He shakes his head agitatedly. The thing is, they should have been interrogating us at the same time, comparing our accounts and memories of the evening. It doesn't make any sense for them to question you for hours while we're all sitting out here. None of this makes sense, my friend. He produces a cigarette from his breast pocket and dangles it from his lip. Our captors are dressed like police constables, but this isn't central booking. It's a damned impound lot, and gassing you as they did is an unorthodox tactic, to say the least. How'd they pick you up, Ractor? You weren't even with us on the run. I was taken unaware, as I imagine you were. Truth be told, I was working in my shop at the time. I'd rather not dwell on it, truth be told. It is, a long story. You know what else doesn't make sense? The cops coming after us at all. I mean, the APB on us was lifted, right? That's what Auntie Cheng said after we got out of the walled city. It was lifted. The APB that Josephine Sang had crate put out on us came with a kill or capture order attached to it, and they weren't paying much attention to the capture part. If the APB hadn't been lifted, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd all be dead, just like Nightjar and Carter. Duncan's back stiffens, but he holds his tongue. Oh, Carter's still a sore spot with him. We should be dead now, or in a secure facility somewhere. Instead, we're sitting in an impound lot, and not just us either. She gestures into the distance. At the edge of the impound, well, they have a good range of view. At the edge of the impound yard, tethered to the docks and the rustling hulk of the bolt hole rises above its surroundings. Holy crap, they brought the ship. Heavy chains snake up from secure moorings on the docks to heavy maglocks that clamp down on the vessel's hull. She isn't going anywhere. They didn't just arrest us, they arrested our damned boat. And all of those on board were taken along for the ride. He lets out an irritated grunt. No warning was given. They simply hooked us to a tug, cut away our moorings, and hauled us away from the harbor. Can you shed any more light on this at all, Seattle? I mean, did whoever you talked to in there let anything else slip or anything? The interrogator said we're here as guests of the HKPF, whatever that means. Guests, huh? Yeah, sure. Back when I was with Lone Star, people would disappear sometimes, get dragged off to black sites, thrown in cages like these. They didn't always come back out of them. How reassuring. Gaichu suddenly leans toward the cell door, his head cocked, an eyebrow raises. He raises a gnarled hand, gesturing for the team to halt. Do you hear that? Footsteps. Someone is coming. He lowers himself into a ready stance. Prepare yourselves. We are about to have company. Well, we have no weapons, so... Interesting. A uniformed constable wearing a sergeant's insignia passes through a set of double gates and into your holding pen. She walks with an air of quiet authority, her face an expressionless mask. A pair of wary eyes fix themselves on you. Shan, her voice is crisp and cold. Step forward, please. All right, let's play along. We're in no real position to do anything. She nods, raises her PDA, and begins to type in a series of commands. Thank you for your cooperation. Senior Inspectors Lamb, and we're going to call him Q for I'll look up the correct pronunciation later. Senior Inspectors Lamb and Q want a word with you. I think I'd like a word with them too. She nods, raises her PDA, and begins to type in a series of commands. That's the right attitude. Very good. In a moment, I'm going to let you out of this cage. When I do that, I want you to make your way to the command trailer near the edge of the docks. Don't try anything stupid. You're being watched. I've served time in a corporate prison. I know what not to do. I hope so, for your sake. She punches a final button on her PDA, and the massive gates to the open pen that holds you begin to rumble open. Go on, start walking. You don't want to leave the senior inspectors waiting. Well, good times. So, let's just, should we do a little bit of exploring, maybe? Or are the guards just going to, Okay, guards are not going to shoot us down for deviating. That's good. Good to know. And we got police cruisers. We have, I guess, impounded cars. Or cars from the people who aren't necessarily HKPF. Not to guarantee that these guys are HKPF. They may just be acting as such. And are they going to let us on board? Nope. The gate to the bolt hole is closed. Well, it looks like there is nowhere else to go but in here, so let's go into the command trailer. Right out of Jurassic Park 2. The cramped confines of the command trailer are packed to the gills with security-rated technology. Terminals and surveillance packages, all stamped with the Mitsuhama logo, fill every inch of available space. Just ahead of you, a pair of senior inspectors, one male and one female, stand over a command console. The man offers you a friendly smile. Ah, Mr. Shan, you're here. Very good. I am Senior Inspector Andy Lamb, one of the leaders of this task force. Thank you for coming so promptly. He extends a hand for you to shake. Yeah, sure. The woman, an elf, retorts through a mouth that seems drawn into a permanent scowl. Look, Lamb, I've got a bastard of a migraine and our guest is a professional criminal. You think we could dispense with the pleasantries and get to business? Yes, of course. He offers her a slight bow. My apologies, Senior Inspector Q. And as for you, Shan, you must be wondering what you and your team are doing here. Hell yes, I want to know what I'm doing here, and I hope for your sake that I like the answer. No, let's not do that. I get the feeling that you're going to tell me. Q cuts in, rubbing the bridge of her nose between her thumb and forefinger. Long story short, we got a problem, and you're in a unique position to help us solve it. This is a job offer, Shan. We want to hire you. Alright. What's the job? It's an infiltration gig. We suspect one of our own of criminal wrongdoing, but we don't have any ironclad proof. Pull up the file, Lamb. Lamb nods and his fingers dance over the keypad of his PDA's keypad. Alright. He raises the device to show you what he's pulled up on the display. From the device's tiny screen, a familiar face leers back at you. Lamb holds it to your face for a few seconds, then pulls the device away. You have a history with this woman. He phrases it as a statement, not a question. Yeah, that's great. When the APB went out on me and Duncan, she's the one who appeared on the TRID to tell the world. Chief Inspector Crate is a highly decorated officer, a leader of HKPF's elite special duties unit. Within the police force, she's universally respected and feared. She's also the unofficial face of the special duties unit in the Hong Kong media circuit. When they need a talking head for a news broadcast, she's the woman they go to. To her fellow inspectors, Crate is a hero and a role model. They'd go to bat for her without a second's hesitation. The woman has a lot of pull. Hence your need for an outsider. That's right. Key members of the Executive Council believe that Crate is at the center of a criminal conspiracy within the HKPF, that she and her co-conspirators have been working as mercenaries under our noses, taking an illicit side work for profit and tarnishing the HKPF's good name in the process. This task force was assembled to investigate that suspicion. The thing is that Josephine Tseng's on the Executive Council. Are we still doing her dirty work for her? Okay. Alright, I get it. Tell me where I come in. We'll get into the specifics later, after you've had the chance to mull it over a while. If you choose to work with us, we'll get full briefing on the plan. For now, you should know that Lamb and I were the ones who cleared the APB from your name. We've already helped you in more ways than one. Well, in that case, I guess a thank you is in order. That won't be necessary. The APB should never have been called out in the first place. Rescinding it was the right thing to do. Now, we understand that the prospect of working with a police task force could feel foreign to you, and I fully expect that you have questions that you'd like to ask. Lamb spreads his hands. If there's anything pressing that you'd like to know, I'll do my best to answer. Okay, well, I want to know who I'll be working with if I do this. What are your roles in this organization? I handled the technical side of the investigation. Decking, information monitoring and control, surveillance work, that sort of thing. Q is on loan from Mitsuhama Corporate. She's a cop just like I am, but her primary responsibility is safeguarding the company's image and financial interest. Mitsuhama? What does the Japana Corp care about some dirty cops in Hong Kong? The Hong Kong police force is owned and operated by Mitsuhama. The company is obviously concerned by what's happening here, so they dispatched me to help Lamb lead this investigation. Consider me a corporate liaison, here to bridge the gap between the suits and the uniforms. That's really interesting. I did not know that Hong Kong's police force was owned by a Japanese corp. Sounds thrilling. She shrugs. Pays better than walking a beat. Tell me where this impound lot is located. I want to know how far from home you've taken me. We're nearer to Aberdeen than we are to Hoi. That's about all you need to know. Secrecy is one of our important tools for survival, Shan. We can't give you an exact address. How the hell did you get my boat here without kindly Cheng stopping you? What makes you think she could stop us? The Yellow Lotus is powerful, but we have a navy at our disposal. You make a fair point. I wouldn't risk getting shelled over that heap of junk either. Actually, Navy? What did you do, attack Hoi? Of course not. We made a token show of force and that was that. Kindly Cheng doesn't want the Marine Police parking a Sea Panther off the Hoi docks any more than anybody would. As highly as she might think of you, she wasn't about to risk a shooting war to keep us from towing your barge. Alright. Why me? There are plenty of other runners in Hong Kong. Other runners don't have a built-in reason to want Crate dead. You do. Beyond that, you're the perfect deniable asset for this job. If you get caught or killed, the SDU will assume that you were there to get revenge for what they did to you. Sound enough reasoning, I guess. We're going to be a suicide squad. You really are the perfect runner for this job, Shan. What we pulled from your mind in interrogation confirmed it. We know that we can trust you for this job, and that's invaluable to people in our position. Well, I'd like to go back to Hoy. Are you going to do that? If you choose to work with us, certainly, when the job is done. If you refuse, on the other hand, well, that's a more complicated discussion. I thought you said I wasn't a prisoner here. Oh, you're not. But the thing is, you know about this task force now. That's a security risk. If you refuse to help us, we're going to have to hold you here for your own safety. You can go back to Hoy when the job is done, and Creighton or people are behind bars. So we don't have a choice. However long that takes. She nods. That's right. However long it takes. Or you could just help us and be home in a day or two. Your call. Well, I'm done asking questions. What's next? What's next is that we let you go, for now. Take some time, think it over, and come back when you're ready to seal the deal. After you've accepted, we'll go into details of the run. I'm not accepting anything from you without running it by my team first. That's why we're letting you go. Talk to them, and tell them exactly what we've told you. We're confident that they'll want to work with us. They should be heading to the bolt hole as we speak. She pauses. Fun name, by the way. When you've made your decision, come back to us. No rush, no pressure. We're not trying to coerce you into doing this. We're all on the same team, after all. I've heard that before. I'll talk to my people. No promises. Meet with your team and contact Kindly Chang. Oh, what fun. So chances are good, I would imagine, that this guy up here is going to be a vendor, because there's drones. Which means this is going to be our own little kind of cut-off piece of paradise where we can grab gear and such for our missions. And it looks like the gate. Yep. Alright, let's head back to the bolt hole and see. As you pass through the hatch and step into the familiar confines of the bolt hole, yes, you find your team waiting for you. Well, this is a hell of a thing. Gobbet absent-mindedly passes a rat from one hand to another. The rodent squeals and chirps in delight. You said it, Gunshow. Not our best day ever as a team. So what's the deal, Shan? Who captured us? Are they cops? Corporate security? A conspiracy of some kind, maybe? Funny enough, I think that this whole thing is going to work to our advantage. Oh? In what way? Well, let's see here. Remember the ambush that killed Carter, Gutshot, and Nightjar? They want us to take out the people behind it. Well, that is interesting. A smile begins to spread across his face. If that's what they want, then you won't hear any arguments from me. Or me. As much as I hate getting jerked around like this prospect of getting some payback for Nightjar is awfully enticing. So what'd you tell them? I told them that I wouldn't agree to anything until I ran it by you. Huh. Well, I guess it's nice to know you're thinking of us. So, what's our next step? Well, we're about to find out. Show of hands. Who's willing to work for the HKPF? I think it's safe to say that we all are. I mean, it doesn't look like there's any way out of this. Plus, we can get revenge for Carter. That alone would be worth the price of admission. The ghoul nods. We didn't follow you through the walled city in a fight with a Yama King to let the police scare us away. Wherever this road may lead, we will follow. Sounds like everyone's on board then? We're in. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still haven't run this little plan by Kindly Chang yet. She raises an eyebrow. You do know that we should do that, right? I mean, the old lady controls an army of thugs, and I can't imagine that she'd like these cops any more than she does Crate or her corrupt ones. Iso gives a solemn nod. She's right. You should call Kindly. Bring the old woman up to speed on what's been happening here. Contact kindly with your PDA. No time like the present. You tap Kindly Cheng's personal comlink number into your PDA and hit the send button. A moment later, the woman's face appears on the screen. Shan, a pleasure to see you, dear. I've been worried sick. She swills something the color of rotten plums out of a highball glass. Now, would you kindly tell me where the frack you've been? Indisposed. I was trapped in a long, awkward conversation with a police interrogator. Ah, I see. Her voice goes cold. You're calling me from police custody? They haven't learned anything that they didn't already know. In fact, they told me to call you. There's a long pause, then finally, tell me exactly what they said to you. Don't leave anything out. The people who have me aren't HKPF rank and file. They're working directly for the Executive Council. The leaders of the group are called Q and Lam Anti-Chang. That's what the DCI at the holding pen said. They're senior inspectors. Those won't be their real names, dear. Not if they're letting you contact me like this. They're after the... Okay. Let's go ahead and use Josephine Tseng, because that's still a sore spot with Antia, I would imagine. Well, whoever they are, they're after the cops that were working for Josephine Tseng, and they want my help. She lifts the glass to her lips and takes another slurp of the dirty, viscous liquid. They're after the filth who ambushed you, then. The ones that killed Nightjaw. And Carter. Nobody gives a frack about Carter. You should know better than to interrupt me by now, Guncho. She dismisses the outburst with a wave of her hand. Now be a good boy and keep your mouth shut. Duncan clenches his jaw. He's clearly furious, but he says nothing. All right. I want you to go along with it. Tell them that you'll take the job. With my blessings. You want me to work with these people? Yes. I do believe that this entire clusterfrack of a situation could work to our advantage. I've always wanted to get a runner into the HKPF secure facilities, and here this task force is, inviting you in. And you can avenge my sweet Nightjaw's death in the process, well, so much the better. Understood. Any special instructions that you want me to follow? Be smart. Do nothing that you could endanger the Yellow Lotus or myself, and report back to me if you see anything that could constitute a threat. Above all, keep your ears open, and don't trust this task force of yours, whatever you do. I always keep my eyes open, Anti-Chang. That's why I'm still alive. Good boy. Oh, and Shan? I'm sure that the police confiscated the Kong that you procured from Eddie Tang, the one that I paid you to retrieve for me. Get it back. She thumbs a button on her PDA and the screen goes black, charming as ever. Well, guess that's it. She lifts her shoulders into a half shrug. We're doing this. I don't like it, but I don't see what choice we have. We're prisoners here, whatever Q and Lam say. Then there is no more to be said. He turns away, his armor rustling as his body shifts. You go back to Lam and Q and accept the job. I will ready my gear. Alright guys, so looks like we are now officially a suicide squad for this HKPF task force. Good times. Well, we'll go ahead and end it here. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, go ahead and click like down below, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help, and we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.